Muhammad's second coming, threat to the West. John Dramani Mahama is the president of the Republic of Ghana. In fact, he was a man who was a vice president to a very powerful president called John Evans Atta Mills. My brother, my sister, a vice president. John Evans Atta Mills went for the first tenure, and when he was preparing for the second tenure, he passed on into eternity. In other words, he died. And this man had to continue and finish the term. My brother, my sister. And then he returned to campaign for his very first term. After his first term, Ghanaians decided that they were not satisfied with his performance and sent him away. I certainly was one of those who did not get too satisfied with what John Mahama did. Now, John Mahama left. And when he left, COVID hit us in no time in the new government. And oh my God, a lot of people saw that John Dramani Mahama had done a lot of work. He had built hospitals, completed a lot of them, and built some on his own. Ghanaians were going into the hospitals time and again, and everybody was giving credit to the president. In fact, it was a common saying in the Ghanaian political space that we don't eat roads. Some would even say we don't eat hospitals. Ghanaians are always interested in what they will eat, their stomachs. Roads don't mean anything to them. The roads can be bumpy. Hey, you can decide not to build hospitals. As long as the average Ghanaian would wake up and eat food, he is okay. But in the tenure of office of John Dramani Mahama, the whole narrative changed. We sent him packing bag and baggage. And we didn't take the excuse that he had built bridges, roads, and hospitals. We said that is not food. So he went away. But when COVID hit, we realized that there are other things more important than just food. Better still, equally important. When we started visiting the hospitals that he built, we were crying to have him come back again. And we voted him into power. And his second tenure, oh my God, as I predicted long ago, has become a threat to the West. John Dramani Mahama is the only president of this nation who was once a president, sent back into the Calcon of ex-presidents, and he returned to become president again. Nobody has ever achieved this feat. My brother, my sister, the only president that we have had do that. He tasted very bitter and sour fruits when he was relegated from the presidency into the world of ex-presidents. In his own words, those who came along with big parcels and greetings in the morning, waking him up with flowers and smiles, all vanished because he was no longer the president of the republic. He learned his lessons. And when he came back, my prayer was that, Mr. President, it's time for you to correct all the mistakes, at least most of the mistakes you made. I said it categorically clear. He stood a unique chance of proving to the whole Ghana and beyond that, listen, a former president returning into the presidency has more experience than any other president who has never tasted this kind of thing. And therefore, you have the power to change the political narrative of this nation. And I am glad and awfully proud of this guy. Mahama came and abolished a lot of taxes. Mahama came, and for the first time in so many years, we have seen fuel prices come down when the whole world is not tasting that. Mahama came, and we saw a lot of first-time things. He has promised a 24-hour economy. It was something he envisaged. Many said it will never happen. My brother, my sister, we are beginning to see a lot of evidence that this is going to happen. Just last night, I woke up to something very interesting. John Dramani Mahama has decided to do some two very important things. He told Ghana that if you vote me into power, I'm going to cancel the animal called ex gratia. And I remember the party in power then, the NPP, chastising him and castigating him. John Dramani Mahama is beating the war drums on corruption. You know what he has done? Watch this. President Mahama cancels payment of fuel allowances to all appointees. Hallelujah. It's never happened in the history of this country. Hey! Sankara attempted to do something like this. He achieved something huge. John Dramani Mahama has taken it to another level. Run the story, my youth. Watch this. Hey! Come on! President John Dramani Mahama has swiftly cancelled fuel allowances for all political appointees under the ruling NDC, with the directive taking immediate effect. Announced by Minister of State for Government Communications Felix Kwakye Ofosu in a statement dated Tuesday, that's today, July 15, 2025, the directive forms part of the government's efforts to reduce public expenditure. The statement added that the funds saved from these initiatives will be directed, in fact, redirected to priority areas within the country. John Dramani Mahama has effective immediately directed the cancellation of payment of fuel allowances and allocation of fuel to all political appointees. That's my brother. We had political appointees hoard a lot of fuel. They were giving fuel to family and friends. They had enough fuel that was supposed to be used for the benefit of the nation directly. People were giving that to family and friends. We saw appointees and their beneficiaries, their benefactors, my brother, my sister, and all the people around them, including the urchins, make money out of fuel coupons and more. John Dramani Mahama says, you know what? We have bought a number of cars for the easy running, the smooth running of government business. Government is not going to pay for fuel to run these vehicles. In some cases, government vehicles are supposed to even be parked right after work. Nobody is going to pay for fuel for any government appointee, my brother, my sister, for his private cars and so on and so forth. So right now, what does it mean? Government appointees would have to buy their own fuel. And that is crazy. In the days of Thomas Sankara, he made sure that the cars that consumed the most minimum fuel was what was used by government appointees and all government workers. He himself rode a motorbike and a bicycle. When he died, he had nothing to his name in terms of material things except a broken guitar, one Renault car. In those countries, they call them Renault, and a motorbike and a bicycle. My brother, my sister, John Dramani Mahama is walking in the footsteps of the great Thomas Sankara, walking in the footsteps of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Right now, all appointees would have to buy their own fuel to run the car. During office hours, there would be an office car that will take you round to run your business. At the end of the day, any other thing that is supposed to be done, fuel allowances cut down. You know how Mahama is doing it. Come here, let me explain some more. Watch this. Come here. Now hear this. Nobody is going to be given fuel. Some people were even given blank checks. They could use fuel as much as they wanted, and at the end of the month, the government would pay. Now the government would add that to your salary. He would add fuel allowances to your salary. If you want, blow everything on fuel. But you make sure that the work is done. How many people understand what I'm talking about? So everybody has a certain quota. It's added to your salary. And then, when everything is done, you have yourself to blame if you overrun fuel. That way, in fact, we will be able to control the misuse of fuel in the system. If you give somebody a blank check, whether he needs the money or not, it's a matter of scribbling his signature and going for it. But if you limit them to some quota, my brother, my sister, you would see those who truly need it and those who don't. My brother, my sister, I am so grateful that John Dramani Mahama has done that. Come here. Now, the next thing John Dramani Mahama has done is this. Watch this. And this is from Ghana Web as well. Government withdraws military protection for former ministers. Others. Run it. Run the story. Now, the ruling NDC government has withdrawn military protection for all civilians who are not officially entitled to such services. Now, according to the Minister of Defense, Dr. Edward Omani Boama, the directive applies to public officials, former ministers, businessmen, and others who rely on military services. He explained that it aligns with the government's resetting agenda and is intended to curb the misuse of military personnel for personal interest. Dash. Listen, we are poor people who want to live in luxury. A beggar certainly has no choice. We are a nation that is so rich, yet we have impoverished ourselves and we are living like poor people who want to break the norm of living luxuriously when we have already impoverished ourselves. A former minister, the fact that he was a minister 6 million years ago in Ghana, there is a dedicated soldier man who is guarding him until he dies. Why? Meanwhile, when it comes to national activities and set personnel are needed, we are always crying that the numbers have run out. John Dramani Mahama says no. Once you are a former minister, you don't qualify anymore. There are some things that we cannot give to you because you are no longer serving the nation in that capacity. It's not an insult. It's not to say we do not value what you did whilst you were around as a minister. But it is just to say that there are some courtesies that have to be cut as long as you are not in a certain position. True? I am excited. Are you excited or not? This is the president we've been waiting for all this while. Nana Akufo-Addo was a waste product. Waste product. And the more I talk about Nana Akufo-Addo, the angrier I get. You can talk your politics as much as you want to talk. I don't deal with politics. I deal with Ghana. People who didn't even like John Dramani Mahama. People who called him Papano. People who called him a drunkard. People who called him a confemihene. Today are all looking at him as if Angel Gabriel has just descended. True or false? Look how much courtesy is cutting away. The luxury of the so-called political class. He's making them so close to the grassroots as possible. In the days, it was difficult to approach a politician. Today, it's not like that. Things are changing. Today, I picked a call and called a number of people. And out of about the 10 people I called, only one person did not answer. And they didn't know my number. My brother, my sister, things are beginning to be reset in Ghana. and I'm most excited. My brother, my sister, let us go back to the first story about the fuel. I want to show you something really important that has pricked my conscience, and this is what I want to leave with you. Go back to that story and watch something interesting. Now, look at it. The last paragraph there. It says, President John Dramani Mahama has effective immediately now directed the cancellation of payment of fuel allowances and allocation of fuel to all political appointees. Hold it there. It's very important to me. So fuel allowance, you don't get it anymore. They make sure that you have a salary that is good enough to run some of these courtesies, albeit limited. My brother, my sister. Number 2, fuel allocation has also been cancelled. You know what that means? It means that those who used to go to the fuel depot and fill their cars almost every day, now that thing has been cancelled. It's not going to work anymore. Next page. My brother, are you listening? That is what it is. Now, the directive forms part of a broader curb in government expenditure aimed at cutting costs and channeling public funds into priority areas, it said. Kwachu Ofosu further stated that the cancellation of fuel payments is part of earlier cost-cutting measures implemented by the administration, highlighting actions such as halting satellite TV subscriptions for officers at the presidency. Kaya Jebe. Hey! Right now, all the offices in the government offices, I'm talking about the presidency and beyond, they can't watch DSTV. My brother, in the days, you will go into offices, nobody is sitting there, they are all on break, and the TV is on, watching the walls. And it's satellite TV, DSTV, and more. Mahama says, if you won't watch Metro TV, stop. If you won't watch GTV, stop. Nobody is going to watch PSG. Nobody is going to watch wrestling. Nobody is going to watch that thing where they kick each other and all that. UFC. You must watch GTV. Adult education in Ghana. Adult education in Dagbani. If you want to watch PSG, if you want to watch Tottenham Spurs, if you want to watch Manchester United, you must pay from your own pocket. If this is not a president, is that Kakro or what? Tell me. Tell me. Listen to the wisdom. So you won't go into any government office anymore. And then you see snake in the city. Or you see some other things that are on DSTV. Now the president believes that leadership must also bear its part of the sacrifices it is calling on the people to make. Oh Jesus. Kai. Woy. 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 The president is saying, leadership by example. After all, when the fish starts to rot, it starts from where? The head. Therefore, me, myself, Mr. President, I won't watch DSTV. Even though my son is a boxing fan, and he would like to go to Super Sports on DSTV, we shall all watch GTV. By the fireside, we will all watch. Nobody would watch Super Sports. That is what is demanded as a leader, from a leader, and by a leader. Hallelujah. Flip the page. Now the statement concluded, the latest cost-cutting measure follows sweeping reductions in the size of government through the appointment of fewer ministers and presidential office staff, Other measures have included shopping, in fact, stopping satellite TV subscriptions for offices at the presidency and other government facilities. So if it's a government facility, my brother, and you want to watch satellite TV subscriptions, that's DSTV as we call that, and more, lie or malewa denche, it's not going to happen. Dash, bring Mahama here. Bring him here. My brother, my sister. Who you all done? Mr. President, I am glad that I've been able to remain alive to see what I wanted to see. Recently, Afenyo Markin was saying that they, the political class, they have to be favored so that they can have their own hospitals. Such an asshole. An asshole. They, the political class, must have their own hospital. When I'm angry, my brother, I don't care. What words we throw out is better to hurt all these idiots and Ghana prospers rather than to be diplomatic and hurt our nation. It doesn't make sense. They, the political class. Who made you that political class? Come here. Who made you that political class? Today, you want to have your own hospitals. Some other person said they must use sirens anytime they are going for their whatever. Mahama says, as a leader, that's the sacrifice you must make. Oh, Mahama. Now, do you know what we are talking about? All this is a threat to the West. The West is happy when Africa is in its worst situation. The West, yes, Africa is the best it is for the West. Hallelujah. Because when your people start crying, you are overspending what you don't have. You will run back to them and ask them to help you and give you loans and give you what? Bailouts and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, they have a firmer grip on you with their colonial hands, squeezing you so tight so that you always cry to them and they will control you like the puppet that you have always been to them. Any country in Africa that's trying to free itself from economic bondage and suppression is an enemy to the West. Hallelujah. Those who have ears, let them hear. Those who have eyes, let them see and know it now that that is the reality. Any country in Africa that is really trying to break from the chains of colonialism and slavery, the West is an enemy to you. Soon, the West will start coming at Mahama. They will start coming at Mahama. They will start coming at Mahama. And when they do, know that we saw it a long time ago. They are not interested in our well-being. They are interested in our bondage and suppression. They are interested in us suffering. Right now, Mahama is making it unattractive to be a stomach politician. He's making it very attractive to be a patriotic politician. Kai Black Rasta, teach. Teach! Mahama is making it difficult for people to be stomach politicians. He is making it very attractive for people to be patriotic politicians. If you are coming in to loot, you are zero. The other day I was with him and he told me, Black, I put 1 or 2 people in positions to go and serve. And they returned after a day or two to tell me, oh, Mr. President, but where you put me there, I've been nothing there where I go chop. And he quickly took back the position and said, well, when I find somewhere where there's something to chop, I'll let you know. And he told me, Black, those people, they will stay there forever. I don't know if I should be sharing this with you, but it is to enlighten you. That is where Mahama is going. I pray that Mahama continues in this state. I pray that we continue in this steadfastness. It's the black pot, aka Kokushonomo, and here we speak truth to power.